You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Dun dun dun.
The wasteland is a host of apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, gross atomic waste. From deep within the core, gross atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 422nd edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a foray of my favorite Fallout fellows. Jess, are you allowed to be a fellow?
Absolutely. I'm a fine, fresh fellow,
Fine,
or whatever.
fresh-faced
Yes.
feller.
Yep.
Tonight on the Fallout Feed, we have returning longtime favorite, Lee. What's going on?
Lee.
How are you doing, Mr. Benjamin?
I'm doing well, as I
Wonderful.
hope everyone else is.
Welcome to the show, sir. Returning guest. Glad to have you. Also, tonight we have Ray. Ray. What's up, Ray?
Not much. Looks like well,
We broadcasting.
so I've got to tweak the live Discord stream because it doesn't. I can't see it.
He's frantically doing knobs and dials.
Knobs
There we
and
go.
dials. Knobs and dials. That's what he does best. Also tonight
Awesome.
joining us is Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody. Kapow.
Yeah, we are in rare form tonight. We're a Sunday recording, usually on a Friday evening. So hang with us, guys, and thanks for showing up to the Discord, everyone who's in our live chat tonight. If you would like to join our Discord, please do so. You can request a link from us, and then you can join in our live chat and maybe win a prize for those nights where we do a game and such. So hit us up on Discord as Twitter continues to crumble into obsolescence. What's the word? Oh, rare form. All right, guys. Tonight on the show, we'll go through our normal gameplay as usual. We have a feedback from Lee, and we have some Far Harbor quests that we're getting into, which should be the general wrap-up of Far Harbor. And thanks for everyone who's been playing along with the season so far. We're really looking forward to your feedback next week when you wrap up your conclusion to the story. So this will be wrapping up Far Harbor and pretty much the first big segment of this season of the Roundtable as we play survival mode in Fallout 4.
It has been so great. Trying to describe this to people has been interesting because it really is kind of like four big segments. We had the first segment, which is us in the Commonwealth figuring out survival, leveling up and all that, getting ready for Far Harbor. Now it's been about 6 weeks in Far Harbor, everything associated, and then a little bit of going back to the mainland for various things.
We like
and
to
we've got
summer on the
Automatron.
island.
Automatron's kind of like a trip to the lobby. It's kind of like intermission. Actually, it's probably going to kick our asses. I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
And then Nuka World to finish it up.
I was looking at the schedule, and it seems like we're playing the entire Automatron in one go, right?
Yes.
We're likely, most people will have likely already stumbled across the overpass there and come across Ada and done the whole introductory quest, but held off on continuing through the entire
If they were
Automatron.
smart, they held off on the entire thing, but most of us have not been smart. And we've had robots on our tails and in our settlements and all over the place for the last
Lord.
month.
They are the worst. If you're like in that no man's land of like, I'm not quite leveled up enough, and then a band of rogue robots show up, and they're just devastating if you hit them at the wrong time, not really prepared. I'm gonna alter my perks a little bit as I go in and like maybe do the robotics expert stuff before I get there, just because being able to tame a few of those robots before the whole waves and waves and waves at the last question, that might help a little bit. All right, so we'll get into our quests that are wrapping up Far Harbor, which is the way life should be, or cleansing the land, depending on which factions you are associated with. And we will also do a Reformation as an optional quest. And we finish everything off by coming back to the mainland, visiting the Nakano home one more time, and go close to home.
Sowing peace and prosperity, and they live happily ever after, right, Andrew?
Absolutely. Everything is honky-dory, and no one was cast out of their home like a nasty hobo to go roam the streets forever aimlessly. That did not... It did. That did not happen in my game. All right, you guys. Also, Jess might round up a little iguana bits tonight, and so we'll probably finish the show up around there. But let's go ahead and roll into it, why don't we? Hey, Lee, did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
I did. I played lots of Fallout 4,
Attaboy.
a little 76, and I also threw in some Open XCOM, which is a open code version of XCOM, the original XCOM game. They had some nice UI elements and some things.
That's fantastic. I haven't tried that. So it's on PC. It's an open version? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
It just means that it's community built and refined.
And XCOM, that's some...
XCOM, that's a extraterrestrial combat.
Oh,
it's
there you go.
An old video game.
Yeah, it's like a tactics game where we're being invaded and you kind of got to get up a squad and fight them off. I've played the recent ones, the ones in the 2010s, but I never played the original.
Oh, okay.
Does General Zeta come to visit?
Yeah, it's basically the squad-based tactical combat plus base building, and you're basically trying to thwart an invasion of the Earth.
Andrew does make a good point. Were you inspired by the alien invasion of '76? And you're like, I need some XCOM in my life.
I have not seen the aliens in '76. I haven't played much in there, just a little bit.
Good job.
We aim to.
I think that we need to start boycotting these events until they start adding new plans, new weapons, new outfits to earn. Quit throwing the same goddamn events at me 3 years in a row without giving me new plans to chase or something. Come on. Another meat. Who's up for another round of Meat Week, you guys? Let's get... How many meat cleaver plans can I have? I've got 37 back at the old camp there. You want another? I've got 40 of them for you.
Yeah, I don't think we have new Meat Week rewards. They have been talking about adding new rewards to some of these events. I've heard rumors of some, but so far I'm checking the data mines, and I don't know if any of them are for Meat Week. So
how difficult is it? Because they've been really good about adding neat things to the Atomic Shop. How difficult is it to add? Is it like, what is the difference between adding a new cool thing to the Atomic Shop versus adding new cool stuff via plans to events?
Yeah, well, we did get new ones for 2022, so we did get new ones last year. I think the thing is the way that they do a lot of the events, and this may be I know it's a simplification, but they seem to launch them as packages. You know what I mean? Where they have the event as a thing that can be put in and put out of the game, kind of like you would a mod or this and that, because that's why we've had things go wrong with them, because sometimes the way the package is set up, the way it interacts with some of the small changes in the game, you get Graham wandering off and not showing up to his own meat cook for a couple weeks, and you get things like that, or some slight things change. But it seems to be like they basically turn it off, they turn it on, they do it as a package. So, and refine it over time. Like they did add new stuff last year, but
I love that guy who throws a party and then fucks off. It's just like, no, I was just kidding, you guys.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see what happens to his house. He's like, oh man, if I don't see it, maybe my parents won't.
It's like, I was going to have a party, but then my cow shit all over the place. I just got to bail. All right. Sorry to interrupt there, Lee. How's XCOM going?
It's fun. It's a game that I played an awful lot back in the day. And so I, know all the mechanics pretty well, though this one does change it up a little bit. Like I said, it makes some improvements to the UI and Seems harder than standard, but maybe not.
Nice. What's the game you've played continuously the longest, or just revisit still years and years later? Is it XCOM?
Yeah, pretty much. And of course, Fallout 4 too.
Oh yeah. Do you ever play that online Star Trek game Jess talks about sometimes?
I have some. I don't know, just something about it didn't grab me. I think it was the too damn many people in multiplayer problem.
Yeah, especially before you got used to it in 76, I can see that being a thing. I feel like now we've all been trial by fire a little bit. But also, I mean, it's a little bit further future, right, Lee? Like, it's a little bit shinier. Some of the technology is different than we know from the shows. Like, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to play, like, original series, next-gen series, or further future?
There's no telling. I mean, it's a whole timeline. Plus, my son's been playing it continuously, and they've thrown a lot of different time travel stuff in. So you can be like, an original series captain, but in Picard's time or later even.
Yeah.
It
Kirk
just
fights
jumps
Picard.
all over the
Nice.
place. Just jumps all over the place.
That's fun. All right. What else have you been getting into there, Lee?
That's about it.
All right.
And
Well, I know.
Well, before we get deeper into his gameplay, do you want to play that feedback he sent in?
Yeah, I was just about to say Lee sent in as part of his gameplay a little feedback file for us to get into. So why don't we take a listen to that?
We make feedback.
Greetings, Wastelanders. This is Lee Benjamin with the continuing story of Mamba Caramba, attorney, post-law. While at Acadia, Chase had asked me to talk to Brooks at the bait shop and give him his synth designation so I could ask him about a missing synth who was overdue. After restocking and rearming in Far Harbor, we talked to Brooks about the missing synth. He told me to keep his designation secret as personal information, but he told me the synth was a young man with white hair and was freaked out and running south as he thought an Institute courser was after him. We took the south road from Far Harbor, and at a Red Rocket station we found a blood trail. It led us to a house full of trapper cannibals who turned hostile. It was quite a fight, but we made it out alive, except for the synth. We found his head and kept it as evidence for Chase that we had found him. We then returned to Acadia with Nick and reported to Chase about the lost synth. She felt responsible and gave me an Institute ray gun and 200 caps for my trouble. We then headed from Acadia south to an old pond house that I'd heard about, hoping it had a bed so we could rest up. It did. Then we found Echo Lake Lumber Company, an old sawmill. There was a small shop there with some much-needed ammunition and a lot of ghouls in the area. Dun dun dun! And down comes the fourth wall. At this point I realized that by trying to jump forward to get the base at Echo Lake Lumber Company, there were too many quests that I'd skipped to make up time for various crashes and losses in progress to get the quest set up. I've now concluded that my initial starting Fallout 4 setup just wasn't stable enough for a survival run. Since then, I've had issues with having mods suddenly no longer work, like the quick save mod being grayed out in the game's escape menu, and the problem I had with my Pip-Boy only working when in power armor. The time is nigh. Save yourselves, brave heroes of the wasteland, and go on without me. I must now move on to tell other stories, and thus concludes my telling of the brave travels of Mamba Caramba, attorney, post-law.
Post-attorney, sounds like. Ugh. That's rough,
There are
Lee.
endings and endings. Yeah, there are endings and endings.
There are. I got to tell you, this whole Mamba Caramba attorney post law thing, I've been really enjoying. Like the whole idea of it, that she's obviously not practicing law anymore, and just the way you're telling her story. It's been fantastic. And I'm sorry it came to an end. I know how unstable mods can be. I was worried I couldn't do Far Harbor, as you know, I was leveling up another character just to be able to do it in survival. So almost had to give up. And it sounds like you're probably not going to find a way around this. Unless, you get adding more mods to the mix and a way to be able to save more often. But yeah, it sounds rough.
Yeah, I had gotten to the point where I had the first two settlements, And at that point was when I had the problem with the Pip-Boy. And I got to thinking about the stuff coming up, and I thought, man, I'm pretty sure that when I go to the submarine base for the children, that there'll be some stuff that I can't do in Power Armor. And if you can't use your Pip-Boy, there's a whole lot of nothing you can do.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
God,
completely
such a pain in
true,
the
right?
ass.
So I had to back up and then, try to redo things and try and make sure that my last couple of feedbacks were consistent with having already done stuff, but having to redo it too.
Hmm.
So, what are the things that you can only do in Pip-Boy that I'm taking for granted that would cause you to not be able to continue things? Can you hotkey stuff? I assume you can because you're on PC. Like, gosh, I'm trying to think.
But can you even get in there to favorite to put it on a hotkey?
If he's in
Like-
Power Armor,
Oh, right, you can set it up ahead. Okay.
and then get
Yeah,
out of
but
your
what-
Power Armor, like what
once
are
you're out
the
of-
things?
Yeah, once you're out of Power Armor, you can't do any inventory management for one thing.
What
you
about-
can't
You always
even
have to have
drop
a,
stuff.
You always have to
When
have
you're at a
signature.
vendor,
You
can,
can't-
can you see your inventory when you're at a vendor, or is that not working either?
You can't bring up your map, so you can't fast travel, so you can't
Yeah.
go,
Mhm.
so you can't go
vendors are
back
okay.
to your Power Armor to do your inventory management. You always have to have the Power Armor nearby. Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, because
Jesus.
you can't carry it like you can in 76.
And there are times when you just can't wear power armor, and you might need to make a quest active, make a quest not active. Listen to holotapes to advance a lot of the time
You
too.
can't craft in Power Armor, right? So you can't do
Mhm.
any crafting or anything. With the, I know the Pip-Boy menu wouldn't show up, but if you went to a crafting bench, would those
Yeah.
UIs
Yeah.
show up? They would.
Yeah,
Okay.
crafting and interacting with vendors and stuff, all that works. But I think VATS works. But, there again, if you can't manage your inventory, there's a whole lot of things you can't do easily, like, I don't know, eat.
Well,
Yeah, that's
and
kind of important in survival.
mode, you need to be able to eat. God, that would suck to have to get into Power Armor just to favorite, your purified water and whatever 12 different food items you had. Yeah, that's
And
a
how
hassle.
often do you eat out of order too? Like, it's always more complicated than it should be. It's like I eat something, I take a stim pack, to wash it down. I'm like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have taken a stim pack. I drink some water,
Yeah.
I take a rat away, I eat more, I drink because you keep erasing things if you don't do it in the right order.
Oh, crap,
Always
I forgot
chems
to-
first, then food. But
Then I forgot to sleep. Oh, now I'm thirsty again. God damn it.
oh gosh, being overtired. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the other issues somebody was asking was, well, why not just be in Power Armor? Well, it's because there are these things called fusion cores that I just was not finding enough of, and I didn't have the resources to just buy them. In fact, a lot of the times resources were a problem anyway because I wasn't running, the full set of some of the mods y'all are running with the settlement management and stuff. So I was having to do all that stuff myself. And a lot of the quests, because I'd run out of things, I'd have to end up doing them in 2 parts and like go do some side stuff that I could figure out that I was strong enough for to, make some money and
Yep.
be able to buy ammo.
Hassle. Wow.
One of the things that helped that a bit was passive income by having vendors in my camps. Because that'll give you, maybe a couple hundred caps. I don't know what kind of time had to pass, but anyway, I could end up going back to the mainland and picking up a few hundred caps, and then going back to the island.
But it's a lot of
and
travel.
buying ammo. Yeah, a lot of travel.
Yep. I went back last week. I went back this past week again too. Like, yeah, I've been going back a bit because you have to. Once you're really out there fighting a lot, you go through ammo and everything so fast.
And like you mentioned with the fusion cores, buying ammo just isn't an efficient way to play
Mhm.
the game. It's like so much more expensive to buy ammo than it is if you like get a bunch of other kinds of ammo and trade it in and swap back and forth. And just buying ammo is not a great way to play, especially in survival mode where everything is harder. You might do a little more damage, but things, take bullet sponge. So you need more ammo, which means you need more money, and it's just not cost effective way to play.
Yeah,
Are you running?
I found that in Far Harbor, the only weapon I could use that was really effective was a plasma rifle.
Mm-hmm. And of course, that stuff can be pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Are you using a photo mode mod too, Lee, or just taking photos without?
The most of it's been with photo mode. Yeah.
I want to compliment this photo you just put in the Discord of Brooks, your character talking to Brooks there. It's really beautiful. I like it. Very cinematic.
Yeah. After I got it, I said, well, gee, that actually looks like she was, taken aback by losing the white-haired synth and all that, which I didn't realize until after I'd taken the photo. So
totally see that.
Thank you.
Glad you
so okay, are you done with the playthrough now? Is that what we're getting? We're done with the Fallout 4 survival playthrough?
I think so. I mean, it's just I had to do so much, back and forth and all that. And,
this build, yes, but you could jump in and get your automatron character leveled up to get ready. Actually, no, you get your ass kicked. And
I mean, maybe if you had a save file at like level 20 or something before all the problems started. But you don't know if they'll creep in. That's sometimes the problem with mods, right? When you go back, when stuff starts happening, you go back, it's still happening.
But maybe you could get ready by Nuka World time. You got a few weeks until we're over there. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I'll also, excuse me. I'm trying to work out setting up to build another PC.
Tell us.
For Starfield. Mainly just I'm going to work with Micro Center, which is like 100 miles away from me. So I'm trying to get together with a guy Ray recommended there to I'll probably go full AMD this time, because right now the processors and the GPUs are doing a little better than the Intels and the NVIDIA as far as cost per performance. And so that and, life in general.
This is the same guy who Ray deals with who sneaks him computer parts and puts them under the counter. Gives Ray a tip up, a little black market side action going on for special customer Ray there. Well,
so this is the guy that when I went in to tell him that I was ready to build a new
it was
PC,
time.
He said, "Already?"
The guy who's supposed to sell him stuff, Ray's hookup, is like taken aback by Ray building a new Starfield PC already.
It's quite a thing when your dealer tells you, "Dude, you have a problem." So he flashed open his trench coat and was like, "You want to buy a video card?"
Yeah, I haven't actually met the guy yet, because like I said, I'm 100 miles away.
How many of the people out there building a new computer for Starfield? Jess, are you updating your PC at all for Starfield? I imagine you'll play on Xbox,
built
right?
In like November. Yes, of course. No, not really. But a PC is always a little bit of a work in progress. But the big update, no, it's only been 6 months.
And
it is Starfield ready.
You're going to play on Xbox anyway, correct? I'm assuming.
I will be primarily. Yeah. I mean, come on. But I don't know. I might need to try it on PC just to see.
Yeah, my machine's 5 years old and it won't even run Windows 11.
Right. So. Yeah, we've all been looking at those minimum specs and maximum specs. When Ray gets to his feedback, he'll probably talk about maximum specs. But yeah, so Lee's a little bit under in a few places. I'm right around the middle. I'm right around the recommended specs. Mm-hmm. And then there's like God tier recommended, and Ray's hopefully
Ray's aiming for those.
Yes.
Oh, I think he's blown right by
it. Lee, were there other aspects of gameplay that you wanted to mention before we roll on to ask Ray about his specs?
No, not really. I mean, just the the idea that I was having to cycle back and redo stuff
Yeah,
fairly often,
that's
and
tough.
everything was just taking longer than than I would have liked.
I think
Yeah.
I think we know the answer, but did you ever pinpoint what the cross up was? Where the Pip-Boy problem was coming from? Which combination of mods?
No, that particular one, I just had to, go back to. I basically went back to when I got to Far Harbor. Was the only save I had that would work,
Oh, good
and
lord.
and like I said, that's why I had to redo all the stuff to get the first two settlements even.
Ugh,
So
rough.
it was a time. Time was had by all.
Well, I know as soon as you get that new PC built, you're going to be like, all right, here we go, Nuka World, baby. Like you'll have it built in the next 3 weeks. How long does it take to build a computer?
Well, if you've already got the somebody to help you with the parts list, it's an afternoon.
Oh, is it you can just pop everything in and get going?
A month of dreaming and comparing prices and looking at this and that. That's about a month at least. And then you have to wait for them to come in after you order them if you don't have a hookup. And then once they're there, yeah, a day.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
set up.
yeah. Ray's really saving me with this, with having a guy who I can just say, yeah, I want to go with the non-Intel system and not NVIDIA this time, and here's about what I want to pay, and this is about how much storage I want, and I'll hang all my old drives off it and all that. And I'm probably going to target like a 1440K, 1440p video setup, even though my monitors can't handle it right now. I've got a 43-inch TV in the back I can use as a test bed, but for the moment I'll just stick with my two 1080p displays.
You're going to have to buy new monitors and everything. You should get one of those cool curved ones and wrap yourself in the depths of space in Starfield.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Well, that's like I even thought about using the HD TV, but if I put it on my desk, it's like
The 54-inch on your desk.
43-inch. Yeah, 43-inch, and it would basically say, "Okay, I have no storage on my desk now."
Yeah, and you'd have to lean
Excuse me.
back.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, thanks for the update there, Lee. Hopefully we get some stuff figured out, and you're more than welcome to hop in and join us at the amusement park if you get the inspiration to try to catch up and put another character together by then. But apologies, and long live Mamba Caramba post-law.
Amen.
All right, Ray, how about you? Did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
I did manage, just barely though.
Attaboy. What? Why? What's going on, Ray? Like we haven't buried that lead.
Yeah, so I just got I don't know. It's hard to really go back to the beginning of where I started this journey.
Go ahead, Ray. Rip that Band-Aid off.
I was born a young child.
Yeah. So I screwed up, about probably a year ago, right about the time that I got that, that my video card blew up, and had to get that the new video card.
Had to meet your guy in a dark back alley and get a new.
And buy it out of his trunk.
You got like a 3070 or something nice at the time.
Yeah, it was a 3070.
And that's
but
so obsolete 3 months ago now. Come on.
I saw a nice deal on a 30-inch 4K monitor. So I picked it up. And it's very tempting, but you can get yourself into trouble because not every video card, including a nice 3070 Ti, can run a 4K monitor. And so I didn't have enough video RAM. So I had this nice monitor sitting here, but I couldn't use it at its native resolution. I had to downscale it to be able to run with my video card. So I've had all this time. I've been, always running at the edge, always just barely lucky to eke out 30 frames per second in my games. And sometimes, my textures weren't great. And so, the frustration finally got to me, and I needed to build a computer that was going to be able to run.
Go to your 4K monitor.
4K monitor.
All right. By show of hands, who else has had to? God, such a typical problem. You have to build a whole new computer just to match your new monitor, right? All of us, I assume, right? Of course.
And so, so I started researching which way I wanted to go, and many years ago, I built several computers with AMD processors and Radeon GPU cards, even before AMD bought them. And so, started doing some research, and, they do currently, have some of the best gaming components available. So, I finally dialed it in. I went into Micro Center this week and talked to my guy, and, got all the goodies. I wasn't sure what case that I wanted to build in, but I wanted something kind of radical.
Well, you went radical. I'm excited. It's gorgeous. The thing is, you could start a zoo in it.
Yeah. So this case, so the one that I was looking at looked like a the cockpit of a Cobra attack helicopter. It was a super cool looking case, but they didn't carry it. And so since I couldn't actually touch it and, look at it and see how easy it was going to be to build in, because not all cases are, created equal when it comes to being able to easily build and get, the parts put in and all that kind of stuff. And so I knew I wanted to build white for Starfield. And so I was looking around at the different cases. And
Space is black, dude.
And so they had this one case, but it was red. That's not the one I want. So my guy says, "Oh, it comes in white too." So we busted it out and looked at it, and it is, yep, that's the one, Jess.
The reason I cracked up laughing is because I typed into Bing PC case Cobra attack helicopter, and I'm getting all these attack helicopters. I scroll down like the 6th line. There's an actual PC case that looks like a Cobra attack helicopter, and it's the right one. That's amazing. Your description was so good.
Yeah, I know I'm a Star Wars nerd, but that looks like a stormtrooper helmet to me.
It kind of does.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
So this case is almost a cube. It's incredibly deep, and so it was. I'm like, okay, I think this will be good. And then, so you have to fill all the fan slots, don't you? Because they're there.
You don't want to.
If they're there.
So when all was said and done, this thing has 11 fans in it.
It's gonna
Ouch.
up and fly off into space.
So, but it's incredibly quiet. So
I think,
the video card fans almost never run.
Wow.
There's so much airflow inside the case that.
Have you pushed it yet? Even when you're pushing it with some solid gaming, it's not running the cards on the fans on the card.
Yeah, it'll come on every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But so so once you build a computer, that's great. You've got this nice little computer, and it runs. But then you have to download all your Steam games,
right?
And download Vortex. And there's a couple of ways you can go with Vortex. You can copy over all your files, from one computer to the other, and essentially have it exactly like it was on your other computer. But because I've been using this setup for a while, I had a lot of mods in there that were old and outdated, or had been updated, and so there was just kind of a lot of extra cruft. So I decided just to go from scratch, and so at this point, I've downloaded about, so it'd be about 700 mods for Skyrim and about 900 mods for Fallout 4.
Did you carry the 2? I don't think you carried the 2.
And you're only halfway done, right?
Yeah, so I still have New Vegas to go. I've got to get that one back up and running, but I've got
so much setup.
I've got everything. I've got everything updated and ready and working with my Roundtable character. So that's good. And fortunately, we're kind of fast and loose in the Skyrim Roundtable this time. We're just playing, different kinds of worship mod stuff. So that one was really easy to just kind of spin up a new character. And I still have the old PC running.
Right.
Now it's running on a lower resolution monitor, so it's much happier.
Did you nice? Did you move any of the drives over and stuff too? I found that setting up the new PC, like you're talking about, just getting everything reestablished, even when like you only play a few select games a lot. You play a whole lot of a few games, and I play a bit of a whole lot of games. But I ended up moving a couple of the hard drives right over just for storage and ease of transfer.
Yeah, no, because I wanted to keep this computer intact. And then the new computer doesn't have any, there's no spinning drives and there's no SSDs. It's all the M2 drives.
Oh, it's beautiful. It looks so good too. You started describing it, but the reason I said it could be a zoo was when he first showed this case before anything was in it, y'all. I saw it and I'm like, oh, he's building a new lizardarium. Like it's a new place for like animals or lizards to live because it's so big and glass. Like you could put a synthetic gorilla in there and feel right at home in the institute. That's what I'm talking about.
How many geckos?
I mean, it's not that big, but it's large.
How many geckos can it fit, Ray?
Yeah, when my wife first saw it, that's what she thought it was. I was building a new terrarium.
Fantastic.
That's hilarious.
Oh, cheers.
Oh, you're going to have to put a gorilla statue in it now.
Well, he has the space, evidently.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of space in it, so I'll have to put some kind of decoration inside.
Clint made the comment that you have more fans than his drone does that he flies around.
Yeah.
That's
the only problem is anything you add to it's going to mess up the airflow.
No, this will be fine. There's no way that you're going to impede 11 fans.
Yeah, but you're going to hear the wind passing through around it.
You know what might be fun? Put a rod in it, top to bottom, with a wing, like a wing, so that when it's blowing, you can actually see the air pressure like raise and lower the wing as it kind of like flying.
Let's put a flow meter in there. See what your MPH is.
So that's been a lot of fun. And then, after I had everything, put together and was, doing all my loading and everything, they came out with the AMD recommendations for Starfield. And so they had, 3 different tiers of AMD CPU and GPU combinations. And so the legendary recommendation is the same CPU as I have, but it's 1 video card down from where I'm at. So I'm extra legendary.
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah, like I said, God tier. That's perfect.
And we're all going to have to buy new Xboxes, right? They're going to have a new Series XX, Xbox Series One, X Series XX that we have to
As a
purchase.
matter of fact, no, but you do have to go to this gen because this is only maybe the second game Microsoft has released because technically Redfall also only worked on current gen. So you're not going to be playing Starfield on your old Xbox Ones, which probably for the best given how well they're running, some games right now.
Exactly.
But yeah, you need that Series X or S.
We can't even go downtown on an old Xbox anymore. Boston crashes you out.
Yeah,
So-
it does on the Series S too a little bit. It's just kind of Xbox in general right now with Fallout 4. I can't wait for the next gen update. Stilliore's in chat talking about that right now, about how next time he plays Fallout 4, it'll probably be on PC unless next gen is out.
I'm kind of surprised we didn't wait to do this roundtable till the next, because we're gonna have to play another Fallout 4 roundtable as soon as that comes.
I mean,
out.
we're already pushing Starfield, so
Yeah, I mean,
we couldn't have waited any
you
longer.
say that, but you didn't want to wait. I mean, I even said Fallout 2, but then everybody was all into survival. It was going well. I'm like, shouldn't we wait? And I gave into peer pressure. So no, I'm glad we are. And then maybe next year because we don't know when next gen update's coming out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. I haven't heard anything about when next gen will be here.
I don't think any of us have. I don't think that they're keeping that one tightly secretized.
It'll probably be hard up on the release of Fallout 5.
Yeah, that's going to be their prerequisite to Fallout 5. You know how Shelter was their prereq to Fallout 4? That's going to be their Fallout 5 project. What else are you getting into there, Ray, besides building your new frogarium?
While I was playing my roundtable character, my main base of operations is at Hangman's Alley, and that's the only settlement that I built. The trade caravan post, and I was. I had come back to Hangman's Alley and I was walking up to the front gate just as Piper was walking out. And she's like, farmers, all there are here are farmers. Nobody's buying bullets. I'm getting out of here. It's like, okay, Cricket, thanks for stopping by.
Farmers, did you make lots of dirt plots? Because there ain't no farming going on in Hangman's Alley.
No, but that's the few people. I don't have a lot of people at Hangman's Alley. Whenever they show up there, and I eventually managed to turn off the recruitment beacon because my other settlements were filling up. So when somebody would show up at Hangman's Alley, I would send them off to another settlement. And so the only thing I had was food and water there in order to, entice people to come to Hangman's Alley. So
I didn't realize we needed anything to entice them with other than the recruitment beacon.
Yeah, if you have more food and water than you need, you'll get people faster.
I did not know that, I don't think.
Just like they stop coming if you've got more people than you have beds after a bit, right? There's like a threshold of 1 or 2 and then they'll stop.
Yeah.
And then they'll just complain.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
I don't like sleeping on concrete.
And you never know what kind of a storm you're going to get with the natural and atmospheric. And I was, running around doing, quests on Far Harbor, and I was headed down to the coast from up in Acadia. And as I was heading down the cliffside, a slow time storm hit.
Oh, I love those. It's so cool.
That's weird.
It's so cool. Then you get like black and white pictures. It's really trippy.
Yeah.
It's like taking a jet or something.
But when you jump off the side of a mountain in slow time, it's really hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome. I haven't tried it. But yeah, Andrew, it's a rad storm, but it's also time slowing. So it speeds up and slows down. As it slows down, everything turns like gray, black, and white. It's really cool.
That's intense.
So that was pretty fun.
Sounds like
awesome.
a storm that comes right out of the TARDIS.
Yeah. So yeah. So other than the regular quests for later, that was about all I did.
All right.
So
Very cool. Okay. How about you, Jess? Did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
I sure did, kinda. Yeah, no, I played video games. Last time we got together was Friday, like normal. So it's been 9 days. So, I had to squeeze a lot in. And because I had stopped right at the edge of Demon's Blue Nightmare last time, first thing I had to do once I got in was actually go in and do Demon's Blue Nightmare. And I just want to tell right now for everybody, I still like it. I'm sorry.
She likes it.
I was trying to be more skeptical this time. I'm like, maybe everybody's right. No, I still like it. It's fun. It's a nice change. I like the color. I like Dima's soothing voice. I like the energy beams and the little skittling
Soothing
thingies.
voice. What?
Yeah, on the memories. Like I like it all. It's a good experience. Now, that said, I took a tip from our friends, and on the fifth puzzle, when I knew I was already kind of get tired a little bit on the fourth one, but I knew I was gonna get tired of it. I did the laser trick and didn't complete the puzzle properly. I just completed it the quick way.
See, not cheating, Ray. It's just the quick way.
Yes, the quick way when I do it.
It's a
Also,
legitimate game mechanic.
Legitimate.
absolutely. Also, it's really kind of fun. Like it's fun playing with those blocks and getting them stacked. It's like Minecraft and Fallout,
Well, if you recall, I bitch and moan about it, but I said it's a fun puzzle game. It's just inappropriate in this Fallout setting. You know what I mean? I like a good puzzle game, and you're right. It is a good, moving the blocks around, storing, like building, finding out where the laser's going. That's awesome. That's great. It's such a shocking. Here, do this instead for a couple hours type interference into our adventure that we're going on.
Yep.
Have they ever done anything in in Fallout 3 or New Vegas? Is there any equivalent to this sort of?
I would say Tranquility Lane is like an equivalent. I realize that it's not the same as in the mechanic wise, but the idea of now you're in a simulation, suddenly it's a different color palette, suddenly the way you play the game has changed. That seems a bit like it to me. Does New Vegas have that really? Aside from the DLC, I don't think so as much. Can you guys think of any that are like that?
There are no Project Anchorage.
Yeah, yeah. Project Anchorage even more so in a way. You're right. Because it's all shooty, so it's still the game, but you are in a simulation.
yeah, or the mothership Zeta, where you're inside the alien ship.
So DLC definitely changed it up. But for main game, I think Tranquility Lane is the closest I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely had the mothership Zeta bug and wasn't able to complete that back in the day.
The old Zeta bug.
Yeah, our last Fallout 3 playthrough, we didn't keep going. And, I would like to revisit some of those and, actually do all of like Mothership Zeta and do Broken Steel again and just all that stuff. That would be fun. That's on my list. It's funny because we're always debating what's next for a roundtable, and we're not at that point yet, but you can hear us already thinking about it. And yeah, there's all these different DLCs to do, all these different DLCs. But so that was Fallout 4. I did Demon's Blue Nightmare, got it there, and I decided to catch up some of the other stuff around the island, that I hadn't done. So I helped finish with the Brother Ware quest, where you got yourself all like super radiated, basically kind of like the Scarecrow in Batman, where you're like "Rah!" in his face, you put on a sack hood and all that, and he sees like Nightmare, but in this case, you're a messenger of Adam, and you convince him to that he's got a plan. So did that one. I did Aubert, which Sister Aubert, the one who we talked about before, is maybe Tectis thinks that she's plotting against him. But the truth is, she is upset about what happened, but she's not really plotting. You know what I mean? She's covering up the fact she is unhappy with Tectis, as many of them are. Tectus is a bit of an ass, if I may say.
Controversial position. Yeah.
I know, right? No, he's a bit of a jerk face, especially considering I'm supposed to be children about him this time, and as are you. I mean, he gave you a whole fancy speech, but we'll get there, I suppose. I didn't get the fancy speech. I didn't get the same fancy speech you did. No, I'm not an inquisitor. But so I cleaned up all that stuff, and then I said I haven't been back home to the Commonwealth in really days, like in-game days. And I noticed that Outpost Zimanja, which is where I have all my new recruits show up, was like 4 people over where it should be. And I'm like, okay, I got to get there, go back to the Commonwealth and clean everything up. So I went back. I sent my settlers hither and yon. I got things balanced now. My average settlement, because my faction is technically Minutemen. I'm playing like it's Railroad because Deacon's my, primary follower that I have this playthrough. So in a lot of ways, I'm playing like it's Railroad, but really it's Minutemen, which is why I've been doing stuff with them. So I got all my settlements balanced. So the basic settlement is about 5 people apiece. And then my big ones are my assigned settlement at Oberlin Station, the huge settlement at Starlight, which is my Nexus Point, Sanctuary, and now Taffington Boathouse, which is what I've turned into Mercer Safe House. Last time we talked about it last week for the railroad. So they've got more built up there too. So I think I'm at 10 settlements now. And of course, since I was back there, once I was done balancing, I'm like, okay, the time has come. Preston, you're right. We're going to take back the castle. Because unlike some friends in chat and other play along people who thought they could do it at like level 10 or 15, I waited. And BT dubs, I'm 65 now after finishing Far Harbor. But
nice.
At this point, I was high 50s. So I was still, plenty high. I'm leveling up. I'm going to catch you. I mean, I'm not going to catch you, Andrew, but I'm getting there.
You need to start spamming that idiot savant if you want to catch up.
Now, I'm not save scumming, but it is happening some. I've got level 2 idiot savant because it was an assigned perk. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of ridiculous being high intelligence idiot savant, but it does when it pops. It's worth a lot for sure. But yeah, so I calculated because I had asked last week how much time went in, and I'm at the end of this week. I'm like, did I really get that much done? But I played about 14 hours according to my save file, and that's even with a couple of reloads. So got a lot in. So I took the castle with Preston. We went across. It took a while to get there because as much as I'd explored Boston and north and a little bit south on some exploration, I hadn't done that South Boston area or the East Coast at all. So it was danger zone. What is that salvage there? Like Big Tim salvage, Big Jim salvage? Do you know what I'm talking about? Full of super mutants?
Yeah, the one where you get the railway rifle.
Yeah.
That place destroyed me twice. So the third time, I just simply avoided it. I wasn't ready for them. I was trying to get to the castle quick and wasn't prepared. But it does turn out, if you remember, I told you about my bloodletter having a special amount of damage. My bloodletter still has a special amount of damage.
Oh man.
Yeah, once I get my adrenaline up, it's like 3,042 or something. And if I get enough blacksmith to put on the melee puncturing mod, it hits like 4,000. I took pictures of it just so you guys can see. I need to share those in Discord and the Facebook group. So I don't know what bug hit my bloodletter, but it is amazing. And yes, I can one-hit super mutants with it. I'm still a gun build. I'm not set up for it, but that's kind of my fallback if I'm in real danger weapon.
I mean, do you really need to be a melee build with you when you have a weapon that does that much damage?
Right, exactly. It's without the perks. But it feels cheaty. So I'm not using it unless I get desperate, but there it is, looking pretty.
Well, you get to the castle, you're going to have a Mirelurk Queen to deal with. One shot that son of a bitch. There you go.
I met up with them and met up with the crew, and I tried something different this time. I do have a castle mod. It's a rebuilt castle mod, but a different one than I used before. So the entrance to the castle is actually on the west side of the castle instead of the south side. But I told them to line up, kind of make a wall, and I would drag everybody out. So that's what I did. It took a little bit, but we took back the castle. It was a fun fight. I lost 1 Minuteman, but I had 2 plus Preston. So we got that all started up, got it rewired, and I got into building there a little bit. So it's nicely cleaned up. It's got plenty of power and beds and all that good stuff. And I'm gonna send some in the area. I'm gonna go do the Atom Cats. Which, by the way, when I did my notes for this, Andrew, I speech to text, and it spelled Atom Cats like Dr. Katz. Since that's your favorite show, I figured I'd tell you.
Oh, that's the perfect cats right there.
So I went down and I swam across because I did not do Mad Rock. I still haven't touched Mad Rock, and I saw there. Man, it looks friggin' cool though.
It
Like
is
looking
neat
over
on the
from the castle.
horizon. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I swam on by it, went down to the Atom Cats, and I did all their stuff. I met the crew, Roxy, and everybody. I got a lot of pictures. Oh man, I've taken so many pictures the past week, and too. I've been behind on sharing, but did their quest, went to Warwick Station, installed the thing, met with the Warwicks, talked to Roger, did all the stuff back and forth that whole area. So I'm friends with the Atom Cats now. They are rocking. I love Zeke's jacket and jeans. Those jeans look so good on my character. If only they were Under Armour or like I had better defense because I mean I can put I'm up to Railroad Weave 3 now. I've got Under Armour Armor 3, so I can do third level of weave. But it's not as good as my armor for sure. But I did all that. I did work. I got the bobbleheads down there. I got the bobblehead from I got Spectacle Island and kicked up the Mirelurks, got the bobbleheads. I did the bobblehead run you guys did early on now. So, went to the Norwegian buddies, went to the island, did all the cats. Like it's great stuff. I had a ton of fun in the Commonwealth. And then next thing I knew, it was kind of end of the week and I had to get back to Far Harbor. So I trekked back there. And then over the weekend, this weekend, I had stuff happening yesterday. So today I went through and I played our final quest. So I'll pick up on that for the final quest. But I will just say, once I got back there, a couple of things. I did do the outskirts of Quincy while I was there and picked up the Butcher Bill's dead drop so I can finally finish. Oh, wait, no, I've already done that one. But I've got that. It was one of the other dead drops. Maybe it was Randolph. Yes, I think that was the one.
Randolph.
I did the Price of Memory boat fire. So you've got Jules, the synth, who, spoiler alert, there's a bit of a story there that she was once Victoria, the synth. And that's really neat. Yeah, there's some cool stories there. And you get stuff from Faraday's Terminal about that. Also, of course, made it to the Vimpock factory to finish up last week's quest, the one that we were doing. Price of Memory or what? No, what Best Left Forgotten that you guys had already finished, and I only made it to the Blue Nightmare. So I went and I found those locations and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, so did you guys fight Grun, the super mutant behemoth in the bottom of the Vimpop factory?
I just left him locked up.
That's the smart thing to do. I heard him in there. I'm like, okay, I got to find a place to save so that I can fight him. Did you fight him, Andrew?
I don't believe so. I think I just ran down there and found the...
If you're reading all the tapes in there, because you got to get a couple things there. First, you got to get a regulator for Sister Mai to get good with all the Children of Adam, which, by the way, 100% did all their quests. So they love me. I'm super faithful and all that. Yay. But if you read on the stuff there, they talk about when some super mutants came by and some were mutating, but how Grun was getting angrier and angrier and just really violent. So the one guy locked him up. Well, he grew up into a behemoth. So you open that door, big ass behemoth. He wasn't that bad. He was a little tougher than Swan bad. I mean, he was bad. But at this point, if you got enough adrenaline going on and you can shoot. I'm getting pretty good. When I've got full adrenaline, even the deliverer can take 10 shots. I've got the AP for it, So that's great. And I guess I'll wrap up there. But it's been a good time in Fallout 4. Excited about finishing the quest, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then on 76, I'm actually up to level or rank 58 on the tour board.
Ooh.
Managed to get in over last weekend a bit too. The Gato stream was canceled, so I did a little 76 last week. Got the weeklies, did a little 76 during the week this week, and feels good. I'm going to finish the board in time.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys have ever told me, is there the process discussed about how a super mutant becomes a behemoth? Is it just extra FEV applied to them or something? Is that found in a terminal somewhere or on a note somewhere?
I mean, while we get a little bit of that from Swan and maybe elsewhere, I think it's a genetic thing. I don't think it's a strain, but yeah, I'd have to look it up. Okay. Like, is it maybe like a certain set of circumstances that's slightly different, whether excess FEV, excess radiation, combination of both, or a different strain? Yeah, I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, just to remember, the only difference between a regular doctor and a mad scientist is the amount of practice they have to have. And so when you practice enough, you get super mutant behemoths.
There you go. The mad behemoths. There you go. So most of my gameplay also consists of our quests for the Far Harbor wrap-up, which I streamed last weekend. You can still probably catch that. I don't think it's been moved off of the old Twitch there, so check that out if you would like to. But as for non-quest related stuff, a couple of my podcasts that I listen to have been warning me that Stitcher is going away. So if you listen to this podcast on Stitcher, please download yourself another podcatcher of some sort to continue listening to the Fallout feed. And then I was thinking, why on earth would a podcatcher go away? Are they losing money somehow? The company's been sold. They're shutting down something. That's weird. But anyway, if you use Stitcher, please find another venue to listen to the Fallout feed there, please. Last week I was we were talking on the show here, and Jess was saying, "Oh wow, you've never re-rolled anything?" So I started using the re-rollers a couple weeks ago. And I haven't really hopped into an ops since, which has just been really nice. And then Eric made a comment, Andrew not doing an ops? What's going on? What's all the crazy of the world? Like he thinks I like doing ops. It's like the only reason I'm hopping on your server, Eric, and then getting on, invite you to the team 12 times until you actually join, and then hopping into an ops is because it was required daily play. It's not like I was like, oh, come on, let's go do an ops. I'm really pumped for this ops. Let's go.
It's still a choice, Andrew. It's always been a choice.
Oh, now that I'm using re-rollers, it ain't a choice anymore. It's just a nope, you're gone. Boop, later. I haven't done an op since. It's been beautiful. Now, the other thing that I have had to use my re-rolls on was this goddamn Nuka-Cola cranberry. What the fuck is up with cranberry? It's a flavor that I like. Maybe the vendors sell it. I can't find a vendor that sells it. Bubbles won't sell it. It's not for sale at Nuka World, at any of the little vendor stations or anything. I cannot find it for sale anywhere. It seems like, and according to the wiki, they always say it has, in quotes, a chance, unquote, to show up at these locations. And then you look it up a little bit further and it's like, oh, it's one of a list of like 8 different flavors that have a chance of showing up there. So it in turn is a 12% chance to actually spawn at those locations. So you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? And they've done it like 4 times in the last couple of weeks where drink a Nuka cranberry is part of your daily challenges. So I've been saving a reroll for the ops, and anytime a cranberry comes up, fuck you, cranberry. I'm rerolling you. It sucks
when you
to go
find a
look for
cranberry, stick it away. Put it in the fridge for later. I mean, there's a chance from the mystery machine you can get it too, but it's like a tiny chance.
Exactly.
It's gonna get one.
It's gonna be that too. Yeah, I would go check my in-camp Nuka-Cola bottle thing where you put in 15 caps and you get a Nuka-Cola. But I never got cranberry as the flavor out of it.
It makes sense why you need 2 then, right? I mean, because
So it's going to turn into my dog food, right? Every time I find a cranberry, I'm going to stash it away. Just like I've got like 58 cans of dog food in my stash just because they've scarred me so much with the eat 10 cans of dog food. I'm like, oh my God, 10 cans of dog food. That's impossible. It used to take me hours to find the 10 cans of dog food. So now every time I see one, I stash it away. And we haven't had to eat 10 cans of dog food in months.
That's what I was going to say. Since the week we were scarred with having it twice between weeklies and dailies.
Exactly.
I don't think I've seen it since.
They're doing the same thing with the Nuka Cranberry right now. And it's just, it's pissing me off. So I'm re-rolling that and the ops, and we're moving right along with our lives and not paying it no mind. But other than that, that's basically most of the gameplay I have. You know, doing the dailies every day still for Fallout 76. I think I'm in the early to mid 70s on the scoreboard. I still haven't used any of my score boost because couple of weeks ago. Just said, oh, use it for one night when you're playing later in the evening. Use it, and you can use it that evening. And then if you're playing early the next afternoon, like when they reset at noon, then you can get the double dip. Well, I just haven't found a convenient time for that to happen, so I might as well just go ahead and fucking use them. Who cares? But I hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll be on my scorecation. But I do have to admit, it's not nearly the hassle since I've started re-rolling the ops and stuff. It's actually, I bitch and moan about all these dailies. Fuck, oh, I hate it. Get me on scorecation ASAP. It's actually not a big deal right now to me. Just, why wasn't I not using those re-rolls earlier?
Getting you in on the fun stuff. Yeah, well, they're like stim packs. They're like bobby pins. You were getting them and you were doing the classic gamer thing of I'm going to hoard them till I need them. Even though that first week I dove on it, I'm like, I will be the sacrificial lamb and use it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not bad, Andrew. It helps.
Yeah, and I was also like, oh, do I get 2 for the whole scoreboard? No, you get 2 every goddamn day. You might as well just burn through those things, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's basically my gameplay. Let's go ahead and roll into some quests here. Ray, did you get a chance to do, let's see, who are you playing for? The Way Life Should Be or Cleansing the Land? Let's see, you were also assigned, weren't all 3 of us assigned children, but you decided to do it another way, right?
Yeah, I went with Dima.
Ugh. Poison.
And so when you go to talk to Dima and tell him about what you found in the computer archives, so I told him that so you replaced Captain Avery.
You killed someone. Oh my God! I feel so bad, and blah,
yeah.
da, 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 da.
So he was devastated, and
air quotes.
So I told him,
devastated.
well, but was it really so bad? Because it kind of worked. And he goes, well, you've got a point there.
I, for one, welcome our mechanical overlords.
And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords.
Murder is A-okay as long as your ends are met, right?
Yeah. So this is the quest where Way Life Should Be or Cleansing the Land. So this is the Way Life Should Be, right? And you decided to go back and confront Dima, right?
Yeah. So, and it's kind of interesting. So the way that it ends up playing out, as soon as you tell him it's okay, then that quest is done.
Yep.
And so you get like 1,500 caps. And
that's hush money, Ray. That's Dima saying. That's Dima saying.
Yeah.
This is
the
just
good thing
between
is
us,
there'll
right?
be more. So then when you then say, so would it work a second time?
Hey, there's this dickhole named Tectus over there. Could we swap him out?
So then that starts Reformation. And so right away I got the what's it called? Adam's
Bulwark, maybe? Or
no. Other one.
It's the Acadia's shield.
Yeah.
So, one thing I didn't mention in my feedback, my dumb self, pardon me, but I decided to pony up 15,000 caps to buy the Devastator's chest piece at Good Neighbor while I was in there doing the castle and everything back in the Commonwealth. I'm like, I want this Devastator's chest piece. It's so expensive. I'm going to do it. 15,000 caps. I got down to like 2,000 caps left after that purchase and selling everything. Then when I get back to Far Harbor, I'm doing this and I'm doing the same path as you. Even though I'm Children of Adam, I rationalized last week that I'm replacing Tectus, but I'm going to do everything I can to help Children of Adam. But this is helping them too because he's leading them astray. Okay. I know. Rationalization. And then I got that chess piece and I'm like, this is better than the Devastator's chess piece, even with like regular. Like once I mod it, it's going to be amazing. So I wasted 15,000 caps.
Yeah.
Waste. Who cares?
So it's a synth chess piece, and it gives you +1 to agility, endurance,
And intelligence, maybe? It's like
Yeah.
3 of
What?
them. Yeah.
3 categories? That's crazy.
3. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And it's like base is like 4139 or something. It's pretty high.
Wow, that is
Pretty high for a synth chess piece, and that's not regular. So yeah.
Very nice.
I guess he must have stolen the plans when he left because they don't produce anything like that now.
And Lee,
Yeah,
you didn't.
It was a prototype.
And Lee, you didn't get this far in Far Harbor, right?
Pardon?
I said you did not get this
No.
far to the end of Far Harbor, correct?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So this is way life should be, which starts when you're in the path. So that is the one way to do that Ray did. Either way, you got to confront Dima. So optionally, you can confront Dima and you can tell him, yeah, what you did was wrong. And you got to turn yourself into the people of Acadia for judgment and confess what you did. And we'll try to spare Acadia if we can. Sorry, turn yourself into the people of Far Harbor and hopefully spare Acadia. Or the other option is you can go to Far Harbor and tell them what was up. So I did this similar to Ray. Because like I said, rationalization. And I did tell him I was okay. Deacon was pretty unhappy actually, because I made one choice along the way of saying, I understand what you did and it was the right thing to do. Deacon was not happy about that. It was made up for by the fact that I told Jules about what happened to her. So that kind of counteracted it. But what did you do on this one, Andrew?
Well, I said, fuck Far Harbor. And I turned off their little fog condenser things.
Yeah.
And,
okay. So you did the cleansing the land option.
And monsters overtook Far Harbor, and you walk in on the scene, and there's just like bloody stumps laying on the sidewalk everywhere. You walk through dead people everywhere. Oh, let me pick over these corpses. Oh, nice lab coat. Let's take his lab coat. Let's all the dead people everywhere. Yeah, it's a pretty brutal, gruesome scene. If
it's incredible,
you turn off the fog condensers.
I watched you do this. Did you talk to Dima first, or tell on him to the people at Far Harbor, or no?
Oh gosh, what order did I do? And I think I went and talked to Dima, and then hopped down the hill to the. There's a little trailer there that you use to turn off the wind turbines. I couldn't believe I hadn't discovered that location yet. It was like, is this not discoverable until this quest or something? Because I swear that I ran through that zone like 12 times. Like,
it may have been there, but like there's no quest marker or button that you can push at the time that would really, you would know would do anything. Right. So you left Dima alive in Acadia. You talked to them and you ran down and did this because you wanted to bring the Brotherhood in to cleanse Acadia later.
And I also wanted to leave Acadia alive so I could go talk to Kasumi to try to get her out of there before we ransacked Acadia later. And you're right. The whole time I've just been like trying to tattle on Acadia to Captain Lancer Kells or whatever his name is.
Do you care now? Do you care now?
Hey.
Do you care now?
He's like, well, just keep coming back with that info. And I'm like, I don't have any more info. There's a fucking robot a settlement there, and they're going to kill all of you Brotherhood people. Come on, let's go.
It's unnatural. They need to be cleansed.
Just keep bringing me the info. It's like, oh my God, there is no more info. That is the info. Meet me there, please. But anyway, once you start this whole process, then they show up on the far west side of the island. There's a little strip of land, a little I don't know. It's almost like a baja that juts down into the ocean there. It's so you meet them over there, and then you talk to the people there, and they say, "Oh yeah, we'll meet you over there at Acadia." But anyway, I told Dima that we're going to shut down the fog condensers, and I believe he tried to talk me out of it. Let's not do that. That sounds like a bad idea, type of thing. So I went and shut down the fog condensers. All the people in Far Harbor, Harbor Town, were wiped out. And then
it was cool seeing, like you were saying, the monsters in there. But like when you get there and there's a fog crawler just coming out in your face, out down the pier, that was a little bit chilling. I'll have to say.
But I was surprised that the monsters were trying to attack me too. I'm like, well, hey guys, I'm the one who let you in.
You're not
here.
their friend. They don't care.
I let them have lunch.
Yeah, they weren't full yet, though.
Yeah, you're right. They're still hungers. So I don't know if I'm going to cross back into like everything I did was pretty fun. I tried to do everything in the most obnoxious way possible, where I shut down the fog condensers to kill Far Harbor, and then I went and told the Brotherhood of Steel on Acadia, and went over to Acadia, and there was only I think one knight who came in with me.
I think there were 3 of them with you. I think you had 3.
Okay,
Mhm.
I expected a more full battalion of knights and Brotherhood representatives in there, but we wiped out Acadia shortly after. No, but let's see. Okay, in there somewhere, I had talked to Kasumi and told her to go home.
Right.
I
you talked to
convinced her
first.
that you're not a synth. Just go home to your parents and resume your normal life. Everything is fine. And then after Kasumi was gone, then I went to meet the Brotherhood to bring them over. Yeah, you're right, Jess. You make some comment about running back and forth. Yeah, I ran all over the goddamn island like 12
So much
times.
back and forth.
So much back and forth. So I got Kasumi out of there. Then we killed everyone at Acadia. I was not impressed with the stuff that Dima had on him. I was expecting a better weapon. He didn't have any great loot on him. Faraday didn't have anything all that cool. They all did have synth components though. I was impressed that there were no like people there.
We were checking. I expected there'd be a couple without synth components, but as far as you could tell, all the ones you checked had them.
Every dead body I looked at had a synth component in it. So I was like, wow, you guys is your detection method is much better than the people over there at Covenant.
And Kasumi wouldn't have, as far as we know, but you didn't kill her there. I think there's one other, but I don't remember.
I have another story. We'll get to that here in just a second. Well, why not here? So anyway, I told Kasumi to go home. We wipe out Acadia. Then to wrap it up, as we're supposed to go talk to Kenji. So I went all the way back to the mainland, and after convincing Kasumi that she is not a synth, go home to your parents. When the option came up at the end, I just decided, well, what the fuck? I was talking to Kenji, and I was like, you know what, Kenji? Your daughter is a synth after all. And he kicked her out. He cast her out of the household to never return. It was the best. It was hilarious.
She was like head down, moping.
She was.
Just walk out of the house to goodness knows where.
She did the the music, the end of the Incredible Hulk TV show when it just played the sad Hulk music. She was hanging her head and walking so fucking slowly. So I'm like, okay, this is fun. I'll see where she's going. And I tried to follow her, but she was going so slowly, and things would come and attack, and we'd have to fend off a pack of wolves. We'd have to fend off some raiders, have to fend off these guys here and everything. And I lost her. She went across the top of the map about halfway and then started heading south, and I lost her during some battle. She took off. But Jess, you think you said saw somewhere that she ends up at the third rail over in Good Neighbor,
I
right?
think she ends up back in Good Neighbor, as an outcast, as a possible synth. She doesn't know. And it's funny, even if you convince her that she's human, like you take that tack, she's like, I guess I'll never really know. And then you do that to her. Like, it's so awful. Such a sad ending. But yeah, so third rail.
The thing is, I tried to see when she was at the house if she was a synth. And I shot her many times. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to search her body. Bam, 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 bam. And she just takes a knee.
Yeah, she can't die. No, she's essential at that point.
So you can't actually know unless you have a PC and can dig into her actual files to see her inventory.
Maybe after the quest, can you kill her? Like on the long walk?
Maybe I'll go to the third rail and try to kill her and see what happens.
Why not?
Anyway, Leon, if longtime listeners will remember our buddy Leon, who's done a bunch of playthroughs with us back in the day, he said, ooh, you guys are going to Nuka World. Before you go to Nuka World, and you're also doing Automatron. Before you do either of those, go do the Silver Shroud stuff and put on the Silver Shroud outfit, because the Silver Shroud versus the Mechanist, they have like some unique dialogue options. And in the Western world, at Nuka World, the Silver Shroud also has some neat dialogue options. So I was like, okay, that sounds like fun. I'll go do that. So when I go to do all the Silver Shroud stuff, I will poke my head into the third rail to see if I can find Kasumi.
Clint
down
is
there.
confirming that that if she dies at Acadia, she doesn't have a synth component. So you don't need to kill her. We were
She's
right
a
about
real
that. She's not a synth.
person.
Yep. But a real person without a family, apparently. Good job, Andrew.
No, she's a synth. I sent her out.
She might be.
She's gone.
Hard to say.
Sad
But
Hulk. Sad Hulk walk. So how'd you guys play it?
That is way life should be, your cleansing the land. Cleansing the land being when you wipe out the Harbormen by trying to fog condensers, or if you wipe out the Children of Adam by blowing them up. Now, they're your factions, so you didn't. You went back to Texas, reported in, and he got to call you the High Inquisitor.
Yeah, the High
He got
Inquisitor.
a ceremony and everything.
Yep. Is that where I got the cool helmet? God, that thing is so cool.
The Inquisitor's helmet, yeah.
That thing is very neat looking. You got it's very steampunk. You got like the cool round weird goggles on it and a steam pipe literally coming out the back of it like you're a choo-choo train.
Yep.
It's the best.
So none of us did the Destroy Far Harbor version of Cleansing the Land. None of us did the Send Dima to be judged by the residents of Far Harbor version.
I would have liked to see him
looking forward to hearing that.
torn apart by the Far Harbor. I should have maybe sent him to Far Harbor to get torn apart and then shut down the fog condensers and killed everyone there and then go back in with the Brotherhood and kill Acadia.
The idea that there's an even worse level of like bad ending for everybody you could have done along the way, it's hilarious.
Ooh, I tore that island a new one.
Well, and then I wonder if you can still go back and also blow the sub up.
Ooh, that might be fun as well.
They're your faction, but you totally could, I bet.
Yeah. Leave the whole place to the trappers.
Oh, I don't know about that. Bunch of lobster trap heads walking around.
Maybe you could have made a neat hat with the all the sweet vacuum tubes that Dima had in his head.
I was just about to say, I'd love to cut off Dima's head and make a cool mask out of his face and all of his little head
He's
things.
freaky looking. He's like some kind of analog porcupine or something.
Whatever. We just got a mask in 76, a hairstyle in 76 that's a bunch of like weird shit coming out of your head that looks a lot like Dima's transistors and stuff.
It does. Even like more low tech, but yeah, it totally
tubes,
does.
Yeah. Oh, but
so
I had a lot of fun.
Ray and we did Reformation, which I wrote the summary in the notes, and I think Ray would agree. It's essentially cross the items 10 times, cross the island 10 times, and get back to me.
Yeah, I only did 9 times.
Only 9.
Okay. Fair. But yeah, I mean, just to break it down real quick. So after you talk to Dima and you agree with his plan, that maybe if it worked once, it might work again, which it is really funny. You mentioned last week it's funny how quick that he switches tune on that. He's like, oh, horrors. How could I make that choice? Hey, you want to do it again? It could work. So anyway, you're like, yes, we want to replace Tectus. So he first sends you to recover Martin's holotapes. And then he's going to repurpose a synth at Acadia, namely Cole in this case, to be Tectus. He's like, I know Tectus well. I can do this. So you recover Martin's holotapes, which is all the way on the west side of the island. And then you bring them back to Acadia, mostly on the east side of the island. Then you do that. He makes a new holotape thing for you and says, okay, while I'm recreating this, you go back to the nucleus and play this tape for the High Confessor. We need to get rid of him. We need to get rid of Tectus so we can replace him. You have to either kill him he just thinks you have to kill him. So there are 2 ways you could do that. You could convince him to go with you to the tunnels, to the high command, the command center, or you can basically go in guns blazing and just start killing him, which will get you in trouble with the people inside his headquarters, I believe, as far as I know.
Does Cole, can you actually replace Tectus with Cole and then they carry on, or do you end up ultimately destroying everything anyway? So
you can, and actually I misrepresented that. So the way I did it was I convinced him to meet me without any backup. He wasn't suspicious. So we go into the tunnels, we meet. I play the tape for him so he knows it's real. And then in the tunnels, when you meet him, you can kill him. I think the difference is if you fail to convince him that it's definitely Martin, he agrees to meet you still, but he brings guards with him. So that's when you fight the guards, I think.
It's him and 2 guards.
Okay. Did you do it with the 2 guards, Ray, or did you do it just him as well?
No, it was him and the 2 guards that were there.
Okay, so I'm charismatic enough that I managed to convince him. And so that must be if you don't convince him, you get the guard. So then you need to hide the evidence, which is all good. And then after you're doing that, you need to return Dima again. So I don't know, there's back and forth time number 5 or 6. You go back to Dima. The deed is done. You meet the new High Confessor Tectus, who has had a revelation from Adam. And, but the Sins of Acadia were kind enough to provide him shelter and succor during whatever happened to him. And so, he's going to go back and convince them not to fight. You can talk to Dima and tell him that you convinced. Oh, right. So when you meet Tectus, you can convince him to leave the island for good. You do have an option to convince him to leave instead of fighting him. So, Ray, because there were guards there, you couldn't. Did. Oh, you did, even with the guards?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I said, you can, I'm giving you the option to, you and your 2 guards leave.
Oh, the guards
never
too.
Come back.
Yeah, I was thinking with them there as witnesses that wouldn't work. I'm glad that still worked. Yeah, and he basically says, the Robit's reach is everywhere. There's no place on this island that he won't find us or try to control. And so he agrees to leave. So and then when you go back to Dima and you tell Dima that you did it by getting him to leave, Dima's like, well, I'm not sure that was the best course. It may not be, but I guess in the end, it still gets the job done or it's effective. It's funny. He's like almost disappointed you didn't kill him.
Yeah, he is for sure.
As much as he regrets it, he's also looking for permanent solutions. And the truth is, Tectus could come back. Yeah. I mean, word could happen. You're right. The other one is more guaranteed to work. But, if our Tectus denounces him, I think it would be fine. Like, I think Tectus is done. Yeah. So that finishes Reformation.
And more importantly, our reward is not incumbent on, 5 years of no Tectus. It's, the swap was made. I get my stuff. See you later. If he comes back, that's your problem.
I mean, I wasn't in it for the reward.
Yeah, Tectus will be back in Fallout 5.
Ooh, I hope so.
Yeah, so he's got 30 years.
Of real time. Of our years. Yeah. Gee whiz.
Yeah, so that wraps up that quest. And now we just have to talk to Kasumi and we start. What's the name of the quest? Far from home, close to home.
Close to home.
Right, far from home is the beginning, close to home is the end.
Do you rat out poor Kasumi and send her sad hulking across the wasteland?
So we had a nice convo. She understood what happened. She's like, I've gotten some peace here. The island seems to be in a good place. And I've gotten some of the answers I was looking for, or at least, things settled to myself. And I'm like, Kasumi, you're a human. Just stop. And she's like, I might be. I guess I'll never know. We go back. When you load in, she's walking in the door. Mom, Dad, they have a tearful reunion. I tell Kenji that we found her. He's like, you're not a synth. She's like, I know I'm not a synth. And I'm like, she knows she's not a synth. Everybody's happy. Kenji gives me a reward. It's a beautiful ending.
So you said she was gleeful that she found answers to questions that she had. Was that just the fact that she was not a synth?
I think that she knows that she found peace. She found balance. You know what I mean? Like she had a chance to actually leave. Because one of her biggest issues, the reason she felt so out of place, is that Kenji was an incredibly controlling father. She was never really allowed to leave or do much of anything and needed to see the world. She got out. She did this on her own. She met a variety of people. She learned a lot about herself there and about the synth settlement. Everything was good there at the end, at least in my version. I feel like I feel like she just learned
Kenji to lighten up, and if you try to keep her locked up, she's gonna leave again.
Yeah, you have a couple choices. Like you can tell her, keep better control of her this time, Kenji, or you could be a decent person and say, you almost lost her. Maybe try not to keep her cooped up so much that she feels she has to run away. Right?
Yeah. Now, but. The wrap up on the Acadia part of it is also you get the Protector of Acadia perk.
Right. Yeah.
Which is when your health falls below 20%, you gain 1,000 damage resistance.
Wow.
And energy resistance for 30 seconds.
Super nerd raid.
Yep. And if you're willing to take one more trip across the island, you can go back to the nucleus and talk to Tectus and get a really crappy, piece of chest armor called Adam's Bulwark. which, I suppose if you're doing the radiation build, this is the piece you're going for, because it increases your damage and energy resistance based on how many rads you've got on you. So if you do the high rad build, this is a key part of that. This and the Inquisitor's helmet, get you that maximum rad build.
Kiloton rifle. That's a fun build.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, there are you get some pretty cool weapons here too. I was surprised with some of the weapons I found. December's Child, I'm going to play with the one that you find. Even though I'm a pistol build, I kind of want to see what I can do with that because it looks really neat. In chat right there, Cosmo has a fantastic plot. He says the Mechanist should make a fake Dima to send to Far Harbor and replace him too. So everybody's been replaced.
Perfect.
Is that before or after the Mechanist robots attack Kenzie's home?
Yeah, probably, hopefully before, but who knows? They need to find a way to get to Far Harbor. That boat helps.
And then the Institute creates another synth and swaps it out with a Mechanist.
No. Oh, God. This is like a soap opera plot now. Like we are going full soap opera on it. But yeah, so finished Far Harbor. Now, the truth is, I have 2 side quests open. I'm not 100% with all the quests for Far Harbor. I didn't finish the Mechanist stuff. I didn't do Red Death. I didn't do Hull Breach 2, and I didn't do the Captain's Dance. So, I didn't need those because I weren't making them judge. But I do kind of want to finish those. Also, I did everything for Children of Adam, and I think I did everything for Acadia. So I guess those are the only ones I have left. But they're still part of the island I haven't explored. So I kind of want to go back and just enjoy the atmosphere without the pressure of the quest. But it's going to be good to get back to the Commonwealth. I think, and this, I'm going to wait till we finish Nuka World to say, but I've always said Far Harbor is my favorite DLC. And after playing it again and kind of seeing more the pattern of how it railroads you a little bit and Dima's philosophy, how some of that like ties into the main stories, it's still an amazing DLC. I love the writing. But I don't know if it's going to hold up to Nuka World. Nuka World might be better. I'll have to wait and play to decide. But that would be a big change for me because I've always said Far Harbor is best and Nuka World's second best.
Well, just because it's atmospheric is what I've always enjoyed about it. The sort of like the hills and the fog and all that. So,
That's
I don't know
awesome,
if it was necessarily the quest structure, but more the environs,
The environs are amazing. But Galactic Zone, I don't know. I've also been watching our friend Soph in Nuka World a bit. So that's also, I've just, like, it's so fun and the areas are so varied. So that's partly why I'm excited to get there.
It is easy to have a high level of variance in the world just by saying, oh, we're an amusement park and here's this world and there's that world. And then, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Any other closing word here on Far Harbor, Ray?
Lee.
Sorry,
yes,
go ahead.
Sorry, Lee. I was going to ask if you had any thoughts. I know you couldn't finish it up, but any big thoughts on Far Harbor yourself? I know you had to abandon it a little bit early.
Well, Far Harbor did bring Skyrim-style billy goating to the mountains.
There is that for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it is a great set of writing, and I have gotten further in other playthroughs, and it does give you a lot of the nice Fallout moral ambiguity between the factions type stuff.
Yeah, really does.
And where's the balance? Well, the balance is where you find it, or what you decide it's going to be. So it's Bethesda role playing for sure.
It really is.
We'll see more of it in Starfield.
Excited. Oh gosh, I hope there's a fog planet.
Well, I've talked about volumetric fog already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing about Far Harbor, it's out of the way enough that you typically don't go back a lot. And so you go there to find this girl, And in the process, you impose your will on this entire population of people
Yep.
and then leave.
Hopefully better than you found it, but I guess that's all in the eye of the beholder.
I mean, it makes you happier.
Yep.
Sayonara, suckers.
Yeah, on traveling back and forth, I kept free. I don't remember exactly how the mechanics work, but I always had to go back to Kenzie's home to get back to the Commonwealth, and I
Yep.
wasn't sure if you did that from the settlements menu, whether you could just jump directly or not.
No, you always had.
Mhm.
You always ended up on the dock at Kenzie's
Right.
house.
And you have to make that walk to your nearest settlement to.
Right. That's
Yeah, so
that's
you
one
want
of the
either,
Yeah.
what's that one up there? The
coastal cottage.
Coastal Cottage.
Yeah, Coastal Cottage.
And I used, I didn't do that one because that was too much land travel. I went to the Kingsport Lighthouse because I could just swim there from Kenzie's house.
Oh,
Yeah, you
perfect.
can.
Hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, for you that would be just right. Yeah,
Yeah, I was always worried about swimming because I wasn't sure if the followers would, take too many rads while I was swimming without
they seem to
getting
be
any.
fine. They honestly, I've been impressed at how fine they are running back and forth across Far Harbor. I do think maybe that is the one thing why I'm a teeny bit more annoyed with Far Harbor this time is because of just all the traveling back and forth and
Mhm.
never fast traveling.
Right, yeah.
It makes it a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd gotten that impression that they might take rad damage because I think Picardo does. And
Oh, really?
that was at one point in my playthrough I mentioned that I had lost him like in the middle of the river between two of the settlements, and I think it's because he took a knee because he got too many rads. But maybe that was just a him problem.
Well,
Physician, heal thyself.
cat meat just seemed to absorb all the same perks that I was taking for some reason because he would just hop in the river and ironically doggy paddle right behind me the whole time.
Oh, can you really tell the difference between doggy paddle and kitty paddle?
Kitty paddle, right? Yeah, he didn't seem to complain about. And cats are typically supposed to not be huge fans of water. He swam all over that damn island.
Some of the big cats love it though.
That's true. Tigers are swimming all over the place.
Yeah. And cat meat's much larger than he appears.
He is. His box is a lot higher than it looks. All right. We'll of course get into more closing thoughts and general themes and such when we listen to everyone's feedback next week. If you would like to submit your closing thoughts on Far Harbor and how your last quests went, please submit the 5-minute feedback to the Fallout feed at gmail.com. Thanks everyone for playing along. It's been a great first half of the season here, so thanks a lot. Well, let's go ahead and proceed to some iguana bits. Jess, what did we have in the way of news this week?
So, not a whole lot of news, although we did get a pretty big reveal that I was waiting for. We'd been speculating on what it meant on the community calendar that we had summer camp coming up. And of course, I see summer camp spelled out CAMP with all caps. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a building thing. I'm excited. Andrew's like, man, I sure wish it would be like Pioneer Scouts or something cool like that. Well, Andrew, you got your wish.
No fucking way, really?
Yeah, it's going to be Pioneer Scout. So in the upcoming
nice.
update, we are going to get an update on Tuesday, July 18th, and they're going to start the camp challenge, calling all Pioneer Scouts. Next challenge event is for you. From July 25th to August 8th, you can claim the Squirrel Scouts backpack skin for free in the Atomic Shop and complete challenges to earn new unique rewards.
Wait,
But it's
Squirrel
different than you're
Scout.
used to this time.
It says Squirrel Scout. I thought we were possums or something.
Yeah, no, we're finally leveling up. That's the thing. We were tadpole and possum. People like, when are we going to get the squirrel challenges? Well, they decided to do that for the event.
Nice. Wait, so they're just adding more of those super tedious ass challenges in the menu? Oh my god!
No.
And they're gonna give us a quiz at the end of it all, of course.
Definitely, yes. Swimming and athletics. No, they're going to do it different this time. So what they're doing, they're going to give us 10 challenges between the 25th and 8th. You can do in any order, anytime. So it's not log in every day to do them. Okay, it's you log in, you want to knock out 2 or 3 of them.
Except they'll be on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what kind of prerequisite is there for doing this stuff?
Well, I think you have to be, you probably have to be a scout already. Like I imagine you have to do like the basics, but I don't have any details beyond that. I just know 10 unique challenges, complete any time during the event duration. So you've got 2 weeks for them. And you get some cute little rewards. If you complete at least 7 out of 10 of the challenges, you get a Squirrel Scout backpack flare. It's a cute little knitted squirrel with a little acorn, and he's adorable.
The flare things that dangle off the backpack. Nice.
And we now have a rack for them too on the scoreboard where you can get a rack to display your flare.
I don't own a gun, let alone many, which would necessitate an entire rack.
And then if you get all 10 challenges, you get the Scrap Rat backpack mod. And what the Scrap Rat backpack mod is, don't say that 10 times fast, is 90% weight reduction on all scrap and components. So it's a permanent backpack mod to give you reduction on your scrap and your junk.
Nice.
So yeah, something fun. I don't know if there's going to be anything else around it, like if there's going to be a new character or a handy kind of pointing you on the way, or if it's just a checklist. But they're saying it's going to be different and fun. We'll see if that's the case.
Different
it may
and fun.
Hopefully it's not just like the original Tadpole and Possum Challenge is already doing, and it's just something in the world menu.
Okay, cool.
Sulior chat says fun, right? We'll see.
Beware, it may be a definition of the word fun of which we're not yet aware.
Yeah, stretching the definition a little bit. But the backpack is really cute. The idea is good. Looking ahead on the calendar, not a whole lot coming to mention beyond that. We've got, let's see, legendary stuff, treasure hunters at the end of the month, and nothing till QuakeCon in mid-August. And, there might be some fun news about Starfield or our game or whatever at QuakeCon, but we don't have a whole lot beyond that. Maybe that'll be when they reveal. I mean, if we're lucky, that'll be when they reveal what's coming up with Next Gen Update, but chances are that's just going to be an article or maybe announced at the big... What's the large convention coming up in Europe? Do you guys remember right now? It's the other one besides E3, the one that's still going?
Eurocon. No, not Eurocon.
I'm just double checking Gamescom.
Remember.
That's it. Such a simple name to slip my mind.
Gamescom. That's what I meant.
Yeah, so that'll be coming up around the end of August, and Microsoft and Bethesda have said they're going to be doing stuff there. So Starfield might be playable. People are hoping they get at least a playable demo there that more people can see and get info on. But they might even reveal other projects, other things they're working on, and maybe if we're lucky, some stuff Fallout related. I don't know. But so summer calendar, and I also marked that there was an interview. I put this in our Facebook group, but I thought there was a fun interview with a Double 11. I'm just going to mention, if you're in our Facebook group, check it out. I'm pulling it up now just to kind of remember what it was I had noted down.
Double 11?
Doom Fallout Edition.
No, it's an interview with Double 11. It was with specifically Ian Farrell, right? So he's one of the studio heads over there, and talking about how they're contracted to work on Fallout 76, what they've been working on. And we know that they had done this scoreboard. We knew that they did the Nuka World on Tour stuff. We talked about that. They also did a lot of the stuff for this scoreboard. So designing the scoreboard, all the cool events and items and stuff like that. But in the article, it comes out talking about Atlantic City, and he's asked point blank, "Oh, are you working on that expedition too?" He's like, "No, that's actually the main group at Bethesda Game Studios Austin working on it." So I just thought that was a good reminder to people that some people say, "Oh, the game's been handed off," but no, there are 3 studios helping out, plus BGS Austin still working on things, designing quests, events. We still don't know the exact timing on the Atlantic City update. Sometimes they use soon. We heard on the one video after the reveal that it was going to be next year, but like early next year. So we don't know. Hopefully that gets dated soon. But yeah, just a lot of stuff in the works. And that's what excited me. Like reading over this article, you can see that these guys are still working on stuff that they can't talk about for 76 beyond the update beyond the next expedition update. And the other small studios are doing a few things. So yeah, 76 not winding out anytime soon.
Well, that just means they're just keep pushing Fallout 5 into the perpetual distance forever and ever.
They're not going to get to it till after, Starfield and ES6 anyway. So at least give us some Fallout in the interim, right?
Yep, good call.
But that is it for my iguana bits. I think there was something else, but I didn't write it down, so it didn't happen.
Well, then it doesn't matter much anyway, does it?
All the news you need to know.
For our shouts tonight on our way out the door, I would just like to give the floor back to Jess again and congratulate you on your experiences with United Wastelanders and just give you the floor to give us a little update on United Wastelanders.
Yeah, so for those who might not have heard through the grapevine or watched the channel or on Twitter, I did wrap up. So You Wastelanders has been my Fallout network with a number of friends, streaming all the Fallout games. I've been doing my Fallout 4 playthrough there a lot, but we do the camp showcases every week. And well, we hit our 3-year anniversary last weekend. So fantastic, 3 years. But I also announced that we are kind of going on hiatus, shutting the channel down. What that means, we're not completely ceasing operations now. Still going to support the theater, so we might broadcast some theater events if the next show comes up, hopefully in about 2 months. Getting a little bit slow starting on rehearsals, but hopefully we'll do that. And I may do the occasional solo stream, but for now, I'm not going to be streaming regularly for a while. I figure that'll give some time to do other things, focus on the playthrough for the podcast, work on other podcasts and videos and fun stuff. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's come out and watched, everybody who supported the channel, joined us to show their camp, to join for some of the silly events we did over time, some of the build competitions, just various fun. I appreciate everyone. It's been great. My whole team, amazing. Love you guys. And yeah, end of an era. I've been doing 2 or 3 streams a week on top of the Gato stuff and the podcast and other things. And yeah, I just kind of thought it was time to wrap that up and maybe refresh and rejuvenate before Starfield comes out. And then who knows?
Well, I mean, it'll be United Space Camp at that point, probably.
Spacelanders. Yeah, you Spacelanders. Let's go.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on all the success with United Wastelanders channel, and I'm sure you'll be back in some form with new projects in the future. But just a really vibrant part of the Fallout 76 community, and thanks for all your efforts and everything you've done to make that community a much better place to be, Jess. It's very, very appreciated.
Thank you. I like to hope we had a good effect on kind of keeping people together because, they expected us to all be fighting each other in 76 and that's just not what happened between our podcast community and groups like ours. I think we've made it a good place.
It's been wonderful. Well, good job, Jess. Good job. All right. Did you guys have anything else you'd like to get into tonight? In that case, you can find Lee over there on the Twitters at Lee Benjamin and a string of numbers. So we'll tag him in the post of this episode when we post it there on Twitter, and you can find his handle there. Lee, thanks so much for hopping on tonight. It was a pleasure speaking with you again, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You can find him and all of his No Man's Sky information over at BBCISSS, the Butcher, Baker, Candlemaker in Space, and at Ray LB. Ray, thanks so much.
Times just posted a new episode yesterday.
Very nice. I saw that drop. Excited to give it a listen. And you can find her at Sleep is for Tea and at Dames Who Game. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on.
Thank you.
I can be found at Indie Android, and the show is at The Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of The Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
They love me.
Always running at the edge. So I
First
picked it
one's
up.
free.